Hold on tight, folks. I've got a real scoop for you today. Researchers have just discovered a huge magma chamber between Germany and France. That's right, a previously unknown magma chamber in the heart of Europe. So make sure to stick around until the end, because this discovery could change everything. What we have believed so far about the geological situation in Germany. Welcome, everyone. To be honest, I was a bit surprised when I heard about this discovery. I mean, it is well known that the Eifel is of volcanic origin, but an active magma chamber? That sounds more like Hawaii or Iceland than like a European low mountain range idyll. But that's exactly what researchers have found out now. And if you want to be informed right away about such groundbreaking insights, then go ahead and subscribe now. Because on this channel, I always keep you up to date on all these exciting topics. Subscribing costs nothing, you will never miss a video again, and you will help me to continue running the channel full time. I appreciate every subscriber, thank you very much. So now off to the Eifel, write to me in the comments and tell me if you have ever been to the low mountain ranges in Germany or France, and which place was the most beautiful. I'm always looking for nice excursion destinations, so feel free to write it in the comments. Today we are traveling to the West Eifel because there, geo-researchers led by Dario Eifel from the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology have discovered something incredible. At a depth of around 10 to 30 kilometers, they have identified several structures that indicate the existence of a magma chamber. But how did they come up with the idea of looking for magma under the Eifel in the first place? The last major eruption in the area was around 13,000 years ago, but in geological terms, that was practically yesterday. And in recent years, there have been repeated indications that something is still happening underground, for example, through weak earthquakes or uplift of the Earth's crust. But what exactly is going on down there has been unclear so far. Until now, researchers actually didn't know if, where, and to what extent there could be a magma chamber under the Eifel. To get to the bottom of the mystery, the researchers reanalyzed old seismic data. This data is from 1987. That was 4 years before I was born. At that time, special vibration vehicles, so-called vibro-size trucks, were used to trigger vibrations in the subsoil. The reflections of the quake waves were then measured to obtain a picture of the structure of the Earth's crust. Meanwhile, we can extract and evaluate much more detailed images of underground structures from the existing data sets because the processing of seismic reflection data has improved greatly, explains study leader Dario Eifel. This has enabled us to visualize previously recognized structures at higher resolution and to map previously unknown features. And what the researchers have mapped is really something. In the area near the town of Ulm, in the western volcanic Eifel region, they discovered several structures with enhanced seismic reflection at a depth of 10 to 30 kilometers. These form flat lenticular pockets that extend obliquely through the subsurface to the lower limit of the lithosphere. Based on the seismic characteristics, these could be magmatic melts or supercritical liquefied volcanic gases from the upper mantle. Wait a minute, supercritical liquefied gases, what is that? Sounds like something that would happen after a visit to a Mexican restaurant. In this case, it is probably volcanic CO2 that turns into a special state under the high pressure at depth. It is neither gaseous nor liquid, but something in between. Just imagine a kind of slushy goo, but made of carbon dioxide. Yummy. In addition to this CO2, the researchers have also found evidence of real molten magma. Eifel and his colleagues report, even if 10% basaltic melt is a low value, this corresponds to around 50 million cubic meters of rock melt for just one of these pockets, which is around 6 kilometers long, 200 meters thick, and around 500 meters wide. 50 million cubic meters of magma, that's my number. To give you an idea of that, that's equivalent to the volume of 20,000. Olympic swimming pools. Imagine if you were 20,000. Fill swimming pools with red-hot lava. Not exactly the ideal place for a cool down. But what does this discovery mean for us? Should we be worried? Is an eruption in the Eifel imminent? No panic, say the researchers. Dario Eifel reassures. This magma has been there for up to 1,000 years, and it could take another 1,000 years before some of it reaches the Earth's surface. He does not expect a major eruption like the one 13,000 years ago, but rather a series of smaller eruptions. The formation of a cinder cone, for example, would be conceivable, but it could also be that the liquid magma cools and solidifies in the future. So there is no immediate danger for the Eifel tourists. On the other hand, I do find the thought a bit unsettling.
that we could see an eruption there within the next centuries or millennia, because in geological terms, that's basically tomorrow morning. The last major eruption in the region, which occurred about 13,000 years ago, shaped today's Lac Sea.
It was one of the most violent eruptions in Central Europe. An estimated 6 cubic kilometers of magma and ash were released, spreading up to 1,000 kilometers. An eruption of this magnitude in the region today would have catastrophic consequences.
Because the ash clouds could paralyze air traffic and severely disrupt infrastructure. In addition, numerous cities and communities will be affected by pyroclastic flows or ash rain.
The economic and social damage would be enormous, and millions of people would have to be evacuated. Fortunately, scientists are monitoring the Eifel very closely to detect early signs of increased volcanic activity. Nevertheless, this discovery is now of enormous importance for our understanding of the region.
Until now, many scientists thought that the geology beneath the Eifel had been more or less stable for millions of years. However, the new findings show that it is much more fragile than previously thought. And there's something else I find fascinating about the whole story. Fascinating. We only know all of this because a few scientists decided to take a closer look at data that is over 35 years old. Just imagine what else we could discover if we were to take a closer look at all the samples that are gathering dust in various labs. And speaking of taking a closer look, the researchers now want to examine the region more closely. If we were to take a closer look at all the samples that are gathering dust in various labs, and speaking of taking a closer look, the researchers now want to examine the region more closely. The German Research Center for Geosciences already launched a large-scale measurement campaign in 2022. The so-called Large N experiment aims to investigate the underground of the Eifel even more precisely seismically. It will also look for possible additional magma occurrences. Hey folks, just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel now, otherwise I'm afraid I'll have to roast this baby Yoda here at the plasma ball. Ah, you've subscribed and activated the bell? Perfect. Baby Yoda is saved, and now let's continue with the video.
In addition, the State Office for Geology is further expanding its earthquake measuring station in the Eifel. They want to be prepared for any eventuality, and finally, we now know that things could literally hit the fan under the Eifel. Who would have thought that such exciting geological discoveries await us right in the heart of Europe? I'm always fascinated by how much we still have to learn about the geology of our beautiful Germany. And who knows, maybe the investigation of this magma chamber will provide us with even more surprising insights. Let's travel away from Earth because there is a new interstellar drive that could potentially allow us to travel to Alpha Centauri within our own lifetimes. No kidding, the stars may now be within our grasp. If you want to know whether you will soon be living on Proxima b, then click on the video in the top right-hand corner. It's very exciting. The algorithm has also taken the trouble to select another fascinating video for you in the bottom right-hand corner. Please don't disappoint it, otherwise I would say see you in the next video. Take care, folks.